Hello guys, and welcome to my trading journal for Thursday the 1st of April. All of the major equity indices closed higher today, with the S&P 500 closing above the 4,000 level for the very first time. So a new milestone for the S&P 500, new record high, and breaking above the 4,000 level for the very first time. There was some weak economic data hitting the wires early today. The weekly jobless claim numbers was higher than the street was expecting, and the relatively weak jobless numbers, or the soft numbers, sent the 10-year Treasury yields downwards, and that helped the markets gain momentum to the upside, the equity markets that is. The VIX, on the other hand, was down significantly today. So the volatility index was down by about 10% to close at 17.33. And it appears the market is digesting the multiplier effects of the Biden stimulus package and the potential infrastructure spending. I mean, the numbers being thrown around range from 2 trillion with a T to 3 trillion. And the markets are kind of digesting the multiplier effect that kind of stimulus would have on the overall economy. And as a result, the fear, the uncertainty that has been hanging over the market for about 12 months is beginning to recede, and the VIX now appears to be returning to its, in quote, its natural sub 20 level, because the VIX is normally below 20. It doesn't stay elevated above 20 for this long. I've never known it to be above 20 for a year or over a year. In terms of the impact on selling spreads, it simply means that the risk premiums in general are going to be discounted. But there will still be some pockets in the markets that exhibit high levels of volatility, and there will still be underliers to sell spreads on. It just means that the general risk premium would come down a little bit. In terms of trade ideas, I had no new trade idea today. However, my position in TAN, or TAN, this one here, that position did close out today. It's the weekly contracts that I opened last week, and surprisingly how these things happen. The positions in the regular contracts that opened a while back haven't closed, but the weekly one closed first, and I'll talk about that in my open positions next. There are now 15 days for the regular April contract to expire, and there are 50 days for the regular May contract to expire. Moving on to my open positions, I now have 2 open positions in the regular April contract, and they are in GNOG and BLUE. And I'll start with the GNOG first. So GNOG, I sold the 17.5, 12.5 put spread for a credit of $1.50. Let's see where GNOG closed out today. So GNOG closed at 13.83 today. Implied volatility 47. My 17.5 short put is still in the money. It's been in the money for some time. In terms of my P&L, it works out negative P&L of $200 per contract. Looking forward to next week, let's see what I'm expecting for GNOG. So this is a 2-year chart of GNOG, and as I mentioned, I think it was last week, earnings came out in GNOG and it got smashed. It got smashed down. Earnings came out around, I think around here, and the sellers just took it down. They smashed it down. Let me zoom into it a little bit. Okay. So the sellers smashed it down after earnings, and then we got this blowout candle here. Call it blowout because 1, the candle is massive, and then 2, the corresponding volume to that candle is also massive. So this blew the bottom out of it, and then after that it's just been consolidating and doing a number of tests. So on, I think it must have been Wednesday last week, was it Friday last week, after this massive candle, the buyers mounted a bit of a comeback here, but not a convincing one. And at the time, I said it was a good green candle, it's been tested, and it'll be interesting to see if the buyers are going to hold it or if the sellers are going to come in and retest it. Well, the sellers were not having any of it. The sellers came back and smashed it back down. But the buyers mounted this test before the prior swing low. So this was the prior swing low. It came down here, and this prior swing low is quite significant, but it's kind of normal, or not uncommon for buyers to test the temperature before hitting the prior swing low to see how much resistance there is and how much volume there is. So after that test, you get these two candles here, sellers with this volume here, nothing near this one. So the buyers kind of gained some data, some confidence that the sellers are probably done, and then they took it down to the prior swing low. This prior swing low is significant. Oops. I took it down to this prior swing low here. And this prior swing low, I say it's significant because if after earnings, if you shorted the stock, say around there, or before earnings you shorted it around here, the natural place you'd be looking to cover your short would be around here, right? That's the prior low. So there, and also if you're a bottom picker and you believe in the GNOG story and you're looking to buy it, around here would be a logical place to buy it, because the risk reward at this level is just fantastically low. Apart from this level here, the next level would be around here. So there's not much, not much selling pressure. There are not many people who are going to be selling this thing actively around here, right? It's come all the way down here. And if you fell asleep all the way down, this is not the place you want to be selling it. How much are you planning to make? So there are going to be, or it's natural to expect there to be many resting orders, resting buy orders once it hits this price swing low. Those who shorted it and those who are looking to buy it and expect it to go back up to where it came from. And by the way, I'm not making a case for the bulls here, just seeing it at just what I'm seeing in the chart. Anyone who wants to buy it, that would have been, this spot here is where many buyers would have their eyes on. And the response from at the swing low is very encouraging. So they brought it down. The market came down here, the buyers stepped in, the sellers took it all the way down to at the low there, buyers stepped in, took it higher. Took it higher. So the response was good, very encouraging, and the follow through has been equally encouraging. Now, with some positive news about GNOG this week and the positive overall market sentiment regarding all this money that will be coming into the markets and the price action in GNOG, it fills me with optimism for the next week for this position. The only thing that can happen is time can run out, but with the sellers out of the way, it's not reckless, is how I put it, to think that this thing can easily come and test this over the next 2 weeks. It's not unreasonable. It's not an unreasonable assumption to make. So for the time being, no action is required in GNOG. My next position is in BLUE. BLUE, I sold the 30.25 put spread. Let's see where BLUE closed today. So BLUE closed at 30.04. Implied volatility has crashed to 23. My short 30 put is slightly out of the money. I'll call it at the money. It's 4 cents out of the money. Blue has been nicely consolidating at the bottom end of its 2-year price range. Let me get a chart of blue. So this is a 2-year chart of blue. This is where the current price action is, and it's been consolidating around here, with the 30 level acting as a magnet. So this is, this is the 30 level, call it here. So the 30 level has been acting as a magnet for this stock, and the price keeps either gravitating towards it, or bouncing off it. When it gets there, it bounces off it. It's at the bottom ridge, like I said, of the massive 2-year. So it's been around here. That's 2 years, and this is where we are now. So this is clearly the bottom of the 2-year range. Now, this thing has been smashed down from quite a high level, right? And it's taking time to come down. You don't expect this thing to just shoot up here unless they invent the next Bitcoin or the next Facebook, or the way these things happen. It's going to consolidate around here for quite some time for the buyers to accumulate the stock, and then it'll go up. Now I'm short the 30 put. It bodes well for me for it to just hang out in the vicinity of 30. 29, going to 29, coming to 30, going to 31. That's all I need for this thing to make money. It doesn't need to shoot up. And the likelihood of it shooting down is a risk I'm willing to take, given where it's coming from, and the appetite for people to sell this thing down here. I mean, there's not much room to the downside. I know it's at $30 and it can go to 0, but unless there is some major scandal, the CEO is caught doing something unspoken about, there's no reason why. Put it another way, it's not unreasonable to expect this thing to just hang around here over the next 2 weeks. It's currently around 30. I'm short the 30 strike. If it stays around 30, 31, 29, then time decay would erode the premium. Bottom line is, I'm happy with the price action in blue. I wasn't expecting this thing to rally, just expected it to, stay around here. And that's exactly what it's doing. So for the time being, no action required on this one as well. And the final position is TAN. TAN, the weekly position. And it's funny how these things happen. This position is only 7 days old and it's closed. And the other regular positions that opened way before it are still open. So this is just a pilot trade to observe how the weeklies trade, and I haven't managed to get enough information on it, so I'm still going to be trading a third of my size. It did make money, but that's not the point. It was a massive delta move that made the money, not the theta decay. So I would like to have one of these and hold it close to expiry, dip in the money, see what the liquidity is like, and maybe even lose money on one of them to see, you know, what it may sound crazy that I want to lose the money, but that's why I'm only trading 2 contracts. I want to see how it responds in the money and a few other data points before I increase the size in it. So I'm still going to be trading 2 contracts. Now I'm aware that not many people got filled on this position, and as to why I got filled and others didn't, I suppose it's the luck of the draw as to who gets filled. A little bit of info on GTC orders and how GTC orders work. So when you create a good until cancelled order, and you the order doesn't necessarily stay in the market all the time. What happens is the broker warehouses the order. It's called warehousing. So your order is live in the market during market hours, the GTC order. At market close, the algo, your broker's algo, would pull all the orders off the market, and then in the morning when the market opens, the algo would resubmit all the orders. Now the process is seamless to us retail traders or retail investors. We don't have to do anything on a daily basis. The broker's algo handles the process. But that's how it works. The order doesn't just stay in the markets overnight and then, you know, until you cancel it. No, it stays in the broker's system, and the broker's algo would automatically place the orders in the market every single day. Now, this is what I'm not sure about in terms of how the mechanism works at Tasty. I do know how it works at some other brokers, but not at Tasty. And I'll use an example to kind of illustrate what my line of reasoning is. Imagine Mr. A created a GTC order at 10 a.m. Today. And Mr. B also created his own GTC order at 2 p.m. today. My hunch, and this is just my hunch, is that Tasty's algo stores the creation timestamp on the GTC order. And when it comes to resubmitting the orders tomorrow morning, it orders or it ranks or sorts the orders based on the timestamp of when the order was created. So if Mr. A created his order at 10 a.m. today and Mr. B created his own at 2 p.m. and the order's a warehouse, come tomorrow morning, Mr. A's order would go in first, followed by Mr. B's order. I mean, we're talking milliseconds here, 1,000th of a second. But this matters in terms of where your order is in the order book. So imagine there's liquidity for only 200 orders to be filled. We both want to buy 10 contracts. Only 200 contracts are offered in the market. 190 of them have been taken. The next 10 would go to Mr. A because his order was in the market before mine. So that's how the order book works. But as to how Tasty handles it, this is pure speculation on my part. I haven't got any inside info as to how they handle it. If anyone is interested, you can email Tasty and find out. Bottom line is there was not enough liquidity to fill all the orders in the market at the time. So the market opened TAN, traded up to around the 94 level, and then it came back down. I think my order got filled around the 94 level when TAN went up to 94 level. That said, all things being equal, this position should close out next week. All things being equal meaning, I mean, it was short the 80 put, and where did it closed around 90, and it closed at, closed at 90. So the short 80 put is $10 out of the money. all things being equal, this thing can go down to 85, it can go up a bit, it can hang around here. 2 open days next week, Monday, Tuesday, fade to decay should erode the premium some more. Blue, I'm not sure if I talked about the P&L in blue when I talked about BLUE. The P&L is positive $47.50 per contract. The P&L for GNOG, I think I mentioned that one. I remember the negative ones, I didn't remember the positive one. GNOG is negative 200, BLUE is positive 47.5. And that brings me to the end of my journal for today. A quick summary of the takeaways, because it's been quite a long one. So I'm still piloting trade ideas in the weekly contracts. Be on the lookout for more trade ideas next week. As usual, I'll be putting on a third of my normal position, 2 contracts. It's your discretion how many contracts you want to put on, but I'll be using a third of my normal allocation for reasons I've already explained. The first weekly contract was in TAN, and that position closed out today. If you did not get filled today, then you probably should get filled next week, all things being equal. In terms of open position, GNOG open position, no action is required. BLUE open position, no action is required. Have a fantastic weekend and happy Easter to everyone. Thank you. Goodbye.